This is Dan Jurgens, and if you want to have a good time, keep listening to the Krypton Report.
Jason J. Lewis, the voice of Superman on Justice League Action, and you're listening to the Krypton Report.
Welcome to the Krypton Report podcast 2026, the year of Supergirl. I hope you enjoyed 2025, the year of Superman, and had a wonderful holiday season. This marks our 11th year. We are glad you're here. We have updated our artwork on all of our sites and socials. It's now 3D. So check out that little upgrade we did. We have also updated our banners to the show The KR Family. Please check us out on all social media platforms, including YouTube. I am your host, Tyler, the Superman of Blue, the Man of Tomorrow. With me is my co-host, the Man of Steel, the Superman of Red, James Cole.
Hey, what's going on?
This year, our plan is to have another great season with special guests, new friends to join us. Our format will be at least 4 episodes a month. The first episode will be a Supergirl graphic novel or series of comics as we dive into the Maid of Might, even more than we already have, if you know our history. The second week will be continuing our Loeb Kelly comics of the early 2000s and Superboy Season 4. We will kick off this year. Our third and fourth will be special ideas and other comic book specials. We will also be doing at least one movie a month commentary for our $1 Patreon. We encourage you to join to hear our additional specials and watch-alongs. So let us begin 2026. All right, man. I'm wearing my new blue zip hoodie. You know, I have the red pullover hoodie, but I have my new blue zip hoodie on today's. So that's a fun little apparel there.
Report one.
Yeah, it's got the small logo here in the corner and then the big in the back. You know.
Oh, awesome! You have to show me the way it looks on the back.
A little bit of news, just a little bit here. Some stuff I've been able to find. There hasn't been a whole lot going on, but here's some things I have. James Gunn says Superwoman doesn't follow the Woman of Tomorrow comic religiously. Yeah, no joke. Because if it did, the screenwriter doesn't get credit, and it would be called Woman of Tomorrow. So, not really surprising.
Just heavily inspired by and adapted,
which is fun. But you know what? Someone said something the other day, and I had never thought of before. That Woman of Tomorrow, I know you haven't read it yet, and we will be reading it this year. It's just like Supergirl True Grit. And I was like, oh.
I think I've heard that comparison.
I was like, well, crap. Okay. That's cool. So there is that. I know there's a couple more. Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow is one of the titles that is coming to the compact DC books. I might end up buying it. The ones that are like they're like $10.
Yeah.
Compact graphic novels are more manga sized. Let's see. The new titles coming this year are Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow.
Yeah,
Batman
for Vendetta compact.
I want. So if anyone sees it at their shop, let me know. I want, because I don't own New Frontier. And I went to buy it.
I'll take a look at my shop and see if they've got it, because there's a whole bunch of them.
Because when I went to my shop to buy it, it was gone.
Yeah, I'll look.
Sweet. Gotham by Gaslight, White Knight, The Dark Knight Returns, Nightwing Leaping into the Light, The Flash Rebirth, Gotham Central, Superman Red Sun, Batgirl of Burnside, Green Arrow Year 1, Batman Under the Red Hood, and Injustice Gods Among Us Year 1. All really good books, and I have most all of those. I've had them, so it just kind of bums me out when there isn't anything in this new format for me because I already own everything. So
Yeah, I mean, but it's a $10 book that is designed compact so you can take it on the go. So if you didn't want to take the ones off your shelf and you wanted to read that book again, you gotta and if something happened to it, because things happen when you're out and about, you're
That's
only
true.
out the $10 book. So
That's
that's
true. That's
nice.
true. Look, James the Wise, you might as well call him. Now, if anyone's wondering what's going on with us,
I missed my
this
mute for a second.
this episode was supposed to come out a couple of days ago, but James and I have both been battling sickness. I have actually been battling sickness since about a week before Christmas. I'm pretty sure that James and I, even though we haven't seen each other, have both been battling COVID because it's been really strong around here. And there's been a lot of people kind of in my circle around that have had it. And it sucks, but it does explain how I've been feeling and what I've been dealing with. So, yeah. And poor on James's side, Jamie and Laura have been sick. Jania was sick for a little bit, but she bounces back faster than anyone I know. And my kids are impervious to ever being super sick. They're like, and then they're healed.
Well, lucky them.
I swear to God, so I'm knock on wood. But the last little bit of news that I have is they released a new, and I'm going to pull this on my screen and share this. Let me get my button here. Share screen. Da-dun-da-dun. Well, crap. Which screen is it on? This thing's being weird. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
There we go. I was being weird for a second. It's this new Supergirl poster. It's cool, gritty, very punk rock aesthetic.
Yeah.
Looks like an album cover. Kind of.
Looks like alien punk rock with all of the alien lettering.
So I dig it. I'm waiting for when Amazon's going to start selling the Supergirl poster or Five Below, because last year they released the Superman poster on DC's website. It was like $20. Then Amazon had it for $10, and then I found it at Five Below. So I want to get the Supergirl poster for my office at work. And I want to decorate. And I was sitting there thinking, like, my wallet took a little bit of a hit last year with Superman. Go figure,
Go figure. I think so. I think so. You did go ham last year.
We did save up, the kids. But I'm thinking like this year, like I'm looking at, I might buy the $40, $50 McFarlane statue of Supergirl. If they make one. I definitely want the Supergirl McFarlane and a Supergirl pop. But that might be about it, If they make like a medium range toy, probably buy like one or two of those,
What if Jason Momoa, through his likability, makes you more of a fan of Lobo?
But see, the thing is, I'm already a Momoa fan. I got two.
Jason Momoa, Lobo, McFarlane.
See, I might have to do that just because I would be the person who keeps comparing it to his Aquaman, the two Aquamans I have of his, So I probably would get his McFarlane. But I mean, they didn't give me a Nathan Fillion McFarlane, so that's bull poop.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Which is crazy.
Is McFarlane even going to have that still? How long does that go till?
Well, I think it's because, like, if you notice on some of their more recent, like I went to buy Peacemaker and everything, and it said this is not a toy. And I wonder if it's like some sort of loophole. So they're not putting it out as a toy. I don't know. Oh no, I
Well,
still
when I see it at the stores in my area, it's no longer with the toys. It's over in like that section. I mean, toys. It's
yeah.
over in that
It's like
section with
collectibles.
collectibles,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's where it's at and stuff now.
So I'm wondering if they're playing a game here, but I'm really not going to go as crazy. Um, but I do want some things from it, you know. I am excited for it. Um, I'm just looking out. Like I said, I want to get that poster for my office. I just, I want Supergirl to do well. But let's see here. What else we got going on? We are going to today, first of all, address that I don't know where I read it exactly, but I thought the Crypto the Superdog was 6 issues. And we kept waiting on issue 6. It was only 5 issues. So I feel dumb. So we just have to review the rest of issues 3, 4, and 5. And I hate when that happens. So Crypto, sorry, bro, I let you down, but that is our last comic that we didn't get in our roundup. So James, have you read Crypto issues 3, 4, and 5?
Yes, sir. Yes, I have.
So let's talk about them. I'm going to try to pull them up because, I went to grab my iPad where I keep all my comics. I asked Sayla, hey, where's my iPad? She goes, it's in the living room, but it's dead. I go, what? And she goes, I'm sorry. And I'm like, another example of my wife coming out of nowhere, handing my iPad at 20%. So she is magical and resilient and amazing.
So we got 20% to get through.
But I think it's hilarious. But yeah, so Crypto. Let's start there. Issue 3 was the one that started with a warning.
I think they all do.
It had the warning because of Crypto the Superdog. I'm trying to go to the comic book series. Let's see. So the one thing about these issues is how quiet they are.
Yeah.
But this one is Crypto finds a little girl, and he basically, she's lost, she's hurt, she's cold. He barks, causes a ruckus, gets her on his back, runs the entire field until he brings her into the hospital. And she wakes up. And it's crazy because there is no dialogue in this entire book until one page of the doctors and the parents. And then Crypto just slowly walks out holding his head low. And then we see elsewhere there's a crash ship that says data processing. And what's interesting is this issue is chapter 3, winter. And then in the next issue it says spring.
Yeah.
So I mean, this was a good issue as far as like visuals. And reading it like in a collection would be great, but like if I just bought this as a one issue, I'd be pretty upset. Like,
I remember saying that about that Tom King issue of Batman back when he was just running across the rooftops. That was the entire thing.
Was there one like that too with Bitewing? I think. Where it was
No,
like,
the one with Nightwing was the art was awesome because it followed Nightwing all the way across the city.
but I mean, like with
from place to
Bitewing,
place.
where it was all from Bitewing's point of view. You know,
Oh,
Bitewing
was there?
Haley. I think there was something. I don't know. I feel like it's one of those things that Tom King does, and then like repeats. And we'll have more on that when we talk about Woman of Tomorrow, because our good friend Logan brought up some interesting things about that, and he'll be on our Woman of Tomorrow review. So, talking about Tom King's writing.
Well, chapter 2 is fall. So you got fall, winter, spring, and summer.
Mm-hmm.
It's crypto for all seasons.
Yes, that's what this should have been called. So spring starts with Crypto just digging through the trash. We see him running through crowds of people.
Is at least the second issue that has a content warning.
Yeah, this was the one I was thinking of. Okay, content warning. This is a sad one, which is saying something. Get someone to hug nearby. And Crypto finds a friend dog, a pal, and they go around. They find some kids, and they find basically like a Brainiac robot. Like, I thought this was crazy, and the robot comes to life, and we see because it was Brainiac Zero, like, that brought the ship out of the water and came to life. And the kids are all playing with it, thinking until it goes nuts and it punches. The two dogs jump to protect the children, and the robot punches both dogs, but Crypto's pal does not get up. And if you look at the panel, like, the dog's eyes are crossed.
Rolled back, yeah.
And Crypto has a very huh? And he gets angry, and boom, the heat vision comes out. And by golly, I love Crypto with heat vision. And I'm very upset that James Gunn did not give Crypto any heat vision.
Right. Well, hopefully, maybe we'll see that with Supergirl if Supergirl's in trouble.
Yes, I hope so.
That's his owner.
Come on, Craig Gillespie.
The cool thing about this, it's like, it's Crypto. He doesn't have any of those morals or ethics. If it comes down to it, and he has to fight, he fights to the death like a dog, and he just obliterates this thing.
Yes,
he moves it up and down, craters it into the ground, rips it to shreds, and incinerates it
like a boss. I love it.
The kids lead their parents out to find the giant robot. Like, the kids are all in hysterics. Giant robots, dog with superpowers. So parents were out there, but then Crypto he ends up having to move on from his friend, and next issue is summer and welcome to Kansas.
I mean, they're all yelling for him, trying to find him, and Crypto's just hiding, it's sad.
It is.
But welcome to Kansas. Let's boot this sucker up. Issue 5, the one, I didn't realize was the end, even though it makes complete sense that it's the end, but I just kept thinking there were 6. Now, this one starts beautifully.
Sorry, I did lead on that one.
No, go for it. Go for it. So we have, no, keep back. We hear Crypto. I said keep back. He's running through a cornfield. Please just leave us alone. Would you be easy? My employer would have been very happy with you sudden change of heart. But now we got to do it the hard way. Okay, Crypto's running to this farmhouse. Boom, busts in. There's a lady holding a gun to a family. Crypto barks. She shoots the dog.
Yeah,
Jesus, in the words of Jimmy, Jesus Christ. How old is she shoots the dog, and the bullet bounces off, and he just looks at her like, "What you gonna do?" She says, what the H are you?" And he remembers fighting the robot. He remembers his dead friend, and then she is down. He pauses, and then she punches him, and it looks like he actually gets hit. But he turns his head like her hand hurts. She says it's broken. He looks like he's about to kick her like a mule. And then the dad of the family hits her in the back of the head with a frying pan. It looks like cast iron, hardcore. And then the family's loving on Crypto. And he just goes.
Crypto gets a whiff of something, and he gets really excited.
Yep, and he takes off. And who does
I love
he run
how
into?
they speculate because he's got superpowers if he's Superboy's dog.
Uh-huh. Who does he run into, James? He's so excited.
He runs into Pa Kent and the Combine.
And then Pa Kent's walking him home. Martha, open the door quickly. He's a fair sight faster than he looks. Mom, Dad, come quick, we hear. And we see Clark holding him, says, "Can we keep him, please?" And they're talking. Go ahead.
Just they got the Mighty Crab Joys on the wall and the Smallville Giants. I think that's hilarious.
Yes, I'm not a huge fan of the Smallville Giants. I prefer the Crows. Just saying. We talked about this in our Build a Superman Universe episode. What mascot we prefer. They say in the rocket, he says, "I believe this belongs on someone's collar." And then we see whoosh, and Clark comes back as Superboy in the current design of Superboy in his costume with his red chucks, which are awesome, and his shorts. And we have Crypto with a cape, and he says, "Then I'm going to call him Crypto." And we see them basically flying off, and we have Mom and Pa say, "I think our Crypto's finally found his way home." Beautiful into the series. I have one quick question for you. With this,
well, there's one thing in this book here. We get a lot of that silence from a couple of issues because we just get some of the dog's point of view, him doing his stuff. But I liked what Jonathan had to say, though. He said, "But the world ain't too friendly to a lost dog, and I have to think the rest of the universe ain't. The odds of it happening, well, it's got to be impossible, don't it?" And she's obviously, it's just it summed up the whole thing with the story, with being with Crypto. Like you said, if you could easily sit down and read all 5 of these issues in one sitting because of how much or the lack of the dialogue, but it's definitely more about the visual storytelling with this book being from Crypto's point of view for the most part.
So I liked it.
Because for most of the series, Crypto is in every panel until the end when you get like the Kents on their own.
But my question to you is the normal Super Boy series hasn't caught up with this book yet because Crypto hasn't made his appearance in Superboy yet.
Yeah,
Correct?
that Superboy series. Yeah, no, that Superboy series. He's still pretty new. As
So
Super,
he hasn't got Crypto yet.
right?
All right, I didn't think so because I was like, wait a minute, I'll make sure I didn't miss anything. All the reading I've been doing, never know what's going to happen. All right, so for our big title of our first episode launching the year of Supergirl, we're going to read a book. We're not going to go back to the origin. I picked this book because we're going to read Supergirl Being Super. It was a 2016, 2017 origin and coming of age tale set outside the main continuity of the DCU. Written by Marika Tamaki and illustrated by Joelle Jones, which I love her art. I remember when this was announced, and I didn't want to read it at the time because it just felt like they were just basically, from the description I remember seeing, was it felt like they were doing Superman's story, but with Supergirl instead of Superman. And I just remember kind of being like, not really in the mood. And the app wasn't out yet, so I wasn't in the mood to buy it.
Right.
But first, before we dig into this, how did you feel about this book? And your kind of like quick history with it.
Well, actually, I know I've seen this cover. So I'm sure I've seen this book on my local comic shelf while I'm looking through the super books and stuff. But I actually didn't. I have no familiarity as to like what this book was going to be about. So it was basically a surprise to me just going in, not even knowing that it was kind of an alternate world's tale for Kara.
All I'm going to say is this book was nothing like I thought it was going to be. And you can take that as positive or negative. Yeah.
The thing, I mean, the art is fantastic, so I knew that going in, but also Mariko Tamaki, I liked I think it was her run on Detective a while back that I really enjoyed. So when I saw her name on this, I was just like, well, I'm gonna give that a shot.
You're like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let's, like I said, let's dig into issue 1 here. Let's load it up.
Yep.
Chapter 1.
Yeah.
Where do I begin? Go ahead. Take the lead, man. I don't care.
Oh no, it's chapter 1. Where do I begin? And we get, basically the rocket crash landing on a farm, and then we get to picture day, and we're with Kara and her friends, her friend Dolly and her friend Jen. They're all part of the track team. It was funny because Kara has a zit on picture day. So that outright, I was like, okay, well, that's a change.
Yeah, like that was different.
Mm-hmm. It gets real different later, and I'm pretty sure that was a dream. I have to look at it again while we're flipping through.
But like they're all on the track team, they go running, they have their coach, then they go afterwards for shakes, you have her.
Who gives them all three some brand new Fitbits?
Yeah, their coach does. And man, I really hate when I'm trying to use my computer to pull comments. Like it's always slow. But their one friend is basically a lesbian.
Yes.
That she makes a big deal out of it to everyone. And Kara's parents, and this is one of those, like, it is outside of main continuity, are very, they're farmers, so that's kind of different, and we get this awesome kind of Kara lifting the tractor, and we see her ship, and she touches the ship, and she's just kind of dreaming, looking at the stars, and we see her going and flying, and she gets a message from Dolly. It says, "Yo, weirdo, when you're done digging holes for your dad, can you call me? I hate history." So all this so far is kind of lining up with how I feel the book was going to be,
Okay.
Like her, because Supergirl, as we've talked about before, a lot of times her origin's really weird. Like, is she, the Carol Danvers or Kara Danvers or Linda Lee? Is she in an orphanage? Are her parents studying aliens, like in the Supergirl series, and then how comics were? Is she with the Kents? And this is kind of like this middle ground. And then we have the most disgusting thing ever when she pops her zit and it just explodes in the bathroom, all over the bathroom.
Oh, yeah. Like super zit power. That's kind of gross.
It is very gross.
Yeah.
He has to clean the bathroom. Then the next day, they're preparing for track, and we see her and her friends really have a close bond, and they're all kind of unique in what they're doing. She gets some new shoes. She helps her dad with the farm. We see that she goes to fly, and something happens where she falls, and she's like, something is wrong, and like her hands are glowing, and then the Fitbit watches keep going off on the girls, and we get more character building, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time because I really want you guys to read this because it is different.
Yeah.
But
her friends have her come out to like the driveway because it's her birthday, and for her it's not like her birthday, it's just her day one on Earth is kind of how she puts it.
I mean,
or her day one that she knows of. 'Cause as we go on, she has like no memory of anything before the 8 years, I think, that she's been here.
Yep. Feels right. It's been a while since I read this because we read this and we're going to record this early, and then we both have been super sick. So I'm a little foggy, just behind the scenes. Hint, hint. But they're going for the race, and it's Kara, Dolly, and Jen.
Yeah.
And they're like cheering on Jen. You can do it. Good luck. 200 meters on the track. And Jen's up first, and it's go. And they start feeling a rumble, like earthquake. and the ground starts splitting, and Dolly starts to go. We see Kara. She grabs Dolly, and they're like, "Where is Jin?" And they're going to search for Jin. And we see Kara in the last book, or the last says, "End of chapter 1." And it's just her standing there saying, "Jin." So I was like, okay. I'm digging this. I read this all in one night, in one sitting, because I like to read before I go to bed. I find it very therapeutic for me. So I started, reading this, and I just ended up reading it in one night. So book 2. And these are actually long books, okay? They're not comic book normal pages. They're 54-page count. So 4 issues, you're looking at about a 200-page graphic novel, which is really interesting that the books themselves are as long as they are.
Yeah.
So it starts
That was
with
one of my thoughts when I began reading it.
So it starts with breaking news about what's happening. You have Dolly and Kara, looking for Jin. Jin's on basically on a side, yelling, "Help me." And they go for her. And we have basically the ground is still breaking up so that Kara gets to Jin while Dolly's away. Kara's got her. Kara is able to stop a falling light pole, like a stadium light pole. And she gets Jin. And then all of a sudden, her hand lights up. And she's saying, "Not again. No, please. No, please." She's holding on, waiting for others to come and help. Then Kara's whole body lights up. And she's yelling, "Jin, hold on." And Jin falls. And Kara dives in after until somebody else grabs her. And she's yelling, "No."
Yeah, she had a rock hit her in the head, so she was kind of out of it, barely able to hang on. Or she was kind of limp.
And this is probably one of my favorite panels in this series. It's Kara basically crying with a rescue fireman blanket around her, but inside the blanket we see people, and we hear Kara Zor-El, and then there's her mom that shows up, and she's like, "Jin is gone. I couldn't save her." And her mom looks like a sweet Southern Midwestern lady, robust fanny pack. Dad looks a little too close to home for us. He's not as gray. He's not as gray as us, So
yeah, I'm
that's.
definitely not as big as he is around the midsection.
I mean, it comes and goes. I got the height thing helping out with that. But they lost several people that day.
I think it's easy to slide into, though. If we're not careful.
They talk about the police have not commented. Several people were lost that day. And Kara's just really suffering. She doesn't really want to do anything. And her and Dolly are texting, communicating. She starts
all of the cereal.
I mean, cereal's good. She starts running again. Her speed returns. And she talks about the one time needing her powers, and it's not there, and she starts crying, saying, "Jin, it's not fair." She really is trying to return to normalcy. And then she kind of has one of those memory dreams where she sees Dolly and her running together with Jin. We have them at the memorial
Jen
service.
listening to the worst music ever.
Oh yeah, was it bluegrass? I mean, was it not good stuff?
I don't know. That's just what Jen has said on a couple of occasions in the book.
Oh, so it's
Or
just
what Dolly says about Jen's music. I'm sorry. I think it happens twice in the book.
it's just fill in the blank music is what it is.
Yeah.
The memorial service is beautiful for her. And Kara just feels guilty. Their track coach is there, tries to do some words of condolences, not working. We talk about remembering a flashback, and I do think it's interesting. Okay, just quick. It's never mentioned, but the fact that both the parents have red hair, I think, is unique and interesting. And then, of course, Kara's blonde.
Yeah.
We all know how important hair color is to me when it comes to these comic book characters. But they have a flashback to when they first discovered she could fly. And Kara goes, meets Dolly at a diner. They eat burgers and fries and shakes because that's, what everyone in the world loves and it's comfort food.
It is interesting her inner monologue of talking about how growing up her and her dad had talked about her powers, and then just at some point they just stopped. So there's an interesting dynamic of her parents, how accepting and caring they are, but they're still very different people. They're not the Kents.
No, they're not. She has a heart-to-heart conversation with her mom, and then she does get a flashback to Krypton. She's just kind of getting images being put in the rocket. Then she sees her parents, and I really can't wait to see what her parents look like in the movie. And then she gets up and, she goes out to her ship and she pulls the blanket and it says, "What does it mean? I was wrapped in this." And it's just red with the symbol. That symbol that if I had a drinking game, I don't drink, but if I had a drinking game where take a shot every time you see that symbol in my room, you would be dead. And wouldn't even complete the symbols. And then she's mad and she punches the ground. And we see like a box of like a control unit that's being turned. And when it's turned is when we see Supergirl hand light up and she's yelling, "What is happening?" And then her whole body is glowing. And we see someone like handcuffed with green. And we see Kryptonian writing. And we see "Help me." And Kara is laying flat. Okay, so I'm getting a little bit more. I'm reading this. I'm like, okay, it's pretty much kind of lining up with what I thought. Interesting, How are you feeling about the story?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty interesting. This is, the chapter where we get a lot of this, her dreams. She doesn't know where she's from. Obviously, like what's going on, the regrets she couldn't save her friend. And then we kind of get that answer here. I think that's what that image is telling us there. It's pretty much from that Fitbit on her wrist.
Blasted Fitbit.
I know.
This is why we don't use Fitbits anymore, by everybody. This is because of this. We have completely gotten rid of the Fitbit industry.
It's hilarious. And then, yeah, I mean,
It was not. It was
green
dumb.
handcuffs. Green handcuffs, So obviously, it's like, well, somebody's like got Kryptonian handcuffs,
right?
So I was digging the story as I'm reading it, as I was reading this all the way through. Seeing that it's like, oh yeah, well, this definitely seems and feels like a different story, a different origin for Cars-Zor-El.
So now we get to book 3. It starts. We see that same kind of image of her with her parents, and she wakes up. She has mud on her feet. And then it's a flashback to when her current parents find her. And then we see her eating cereal. That's her 4th bowl, says Mom. And we see her, trying to get dressed. Gary, they're making pancakes, which pancakes sound good.
Yes, they do.
And she goes to school, back to school. And people are just talking. Like, I heard she tried to save her. I heard she tried to save her friend. And there's Dolly. I'm pretty sure me and Dolly would be friends in school.
My mom's meatloaf.
Yeah, it's hilarious. But like just her style and everything. And like it's just really excuse me. They walk into class and their friend's name is on the board. And they're just trying to go through their day, and it's not as adequate as they had hoped. Just people's attitudes to both of them. And Travis, this is like this white dude bully, and he's just being a jerk. And then there's this. So I'm just going to say the coach, because we see her with like the girls' soccer team. And we see click, click, ping, and everything. Like she's trying to get a hold of Dolly and Kara. And they're actually out getting some more food. Kara comes home. There's her parents with the coach. We get a flashback to her parents with an old couple.
Well, that's her grandparents.
That's what I thought.
Mom's parents.
Yeah, and we get a flashback of when she saved them from a burning fire. And she says, I had to help Grandpa. I know you did, kiddo, but we have to go inside and hide for a bit now. And we see the grandparents. That girl is not natural. You got to call the authorities. She's part of this family. That's the end of it. Dude, I swear to God, right now, if my kid saves some people and they were like my parents or whatever, even a kid that I loved and I was caring for, save them and they start pulling this crap, stuff's going to go down, man. Like, that child just saved your life and you're going to like call the authorities. She's not natural. Man, if this wasn't such a family-friendly podcast, I'd say some things right now. So just go ahead, listeners, and use your imagination of how Tyler will go off. Because that's just some bull hockey.
Right. That's some John Kent anger management stuff right there.
Yeah. Where is Mongol for me to punch?
Absolutely.
So I
Fly
think
out and just punch an asteroid.
Yes, let's go. All right, we're back. So the coach, is at the house, and Kara says, "Why would she come all the way here?" And it says, "She said you skipped gym. She's worried. Why are you skipping gym?" Because I didn't feel like running around a track. Dude, look, as someone whose family recently experienced grief, okay, and if like with my kids, sometimes they've done things that's a little out of the ordinary or whatever, and they just want to do something. You just let it go, man.
Yeah. And what is this? A week?
Yeah, you just understand that grief hits us and we do stuff and so we all express it, and sometimes we just don't want to like do certain things to trigger ourselves. I'm just saying, like, some people are just non-caring. Like, there's still stuff that my wife is dealing with. I mean, this year, I would say in some ways, has been harder than last year, because last year it was kind of this new, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening. And then this year is more of like, yeah, this really happened. This is the new normal. This is how it's going to be from now on. There is no change. You'll never get to see her again. So grief is a powerful, powerful thing. And people just need to like let people just roll with whatever heals them.
As long as it's not too self-destructive, that's for sure.
Right. And I mean, yeah. Don't be self-destructive, and don't be, problematic and hurt yourself or hurt others. But skipping gym class, I wouldn't get mad at my kids. Whatever. Especially when track, okay, running, being part of a team is where your friend is from and where you lost your friend. Like, yeah. It's in this page right here, though, that we get our first kind of bigger world reference. LexCorp on her phone. Battery inside says LexCorp. So I forgot my tracker thing in my bag. Broke open. LexCorp. Mom comes in. Is talking to her.
LexCorp, not Luther Corp.
Yeah. She keeps hearing "save me." She follows it to an underground facility where there's a person strapped to a table with who else there, James?
Coach
Stone. And she's like, Kara? And when I can explain what? Kara, please, I'm truly sorry. She turns it up. This is where Kara goes yellow. And this is where I'm like, okay, this is weird. What's going on?
And they show the shot of her arm in the bracelet again. That's where I was like, definitely coming from the bracelet.
Which is interesting that it affects her like that. You are contributing to our great groundbreaking discovery. This is your research? You lied to me. You are an alien life form pretending to be human. Who's the liar, Kara? Well, dang. She breaks the bracelet. That's why you get to tear me to pieces, because I'm an alien? No, that's not what I'm saying. I promise you. What do you promise? She punches the machine, as she rightfully should. And boom, heat visions.
Yep. Her first experience with heat vision, I'm sure.
Says, I'm free. I'm saved. Who are you? I was a test subject like you. I'm free. What is this place?
He's speaking another language. She says, I know this language. Do I speak this language? And then maybe not.
And this is where I'm like, okay, who is this dude? Okay, what are we doing here? Okay. He says Kryptonians like us. And I'm like, oh, okay. So Kara Danvers. I'm tan on. Okay. New character. Do you remember a tan on? Sounds like, I'm sorry, but tan on sounds like a really bad like character name. Like I'm sorry, but just like I put a tan on. I got a tan.
Yeah.
You know,
it sounds like a horrible name for a cheap spray tan joint.
Yeah, tan on. So I'm just kind of like, okay. What is
probably where that crappy orange comes from?
Mississippi's. And he says, what is your real name? Kara Zor-El. So she found a Kryptonian. Couldn't have been like someone we've known. No. So he starts giving speeches about this world for power. He says she took risks that made the earth shake. She's like, Earthshake? Everything I learned about the world makes it worse. What do I do? I just have to go, she says. So she goes back, gets some stuff, tries to reach Dolly. And then Tanon's sitting there and some dude's just hiking. And he says, he's got his telescope, says, was just coming up to see if I could catch a slide of the Milky Way. And then Tanner here says the stars are not for humans and kills the person with his heat version.
Yeah.
I will
totally.
see you turn to dust for my torture. And they find a note from Kara. She's leaving. She goes to, find him. And it ends on to be concluded. So this is where I'm kind of like, okay, little caught off guard with the way this was going. Interesting that they didn't just make it a Kryptonian we already knew. Like, why we have to do this Tanner guy. That's what I'm calling him.
Yeah.
Because I feel weird saying Tanon. Like, Tanon.
Right. And then her kind of trying to run off with him.
Yeah.
Right away.
Right away. I mean, she's a young teenager, I guess. So I guess that tracks. But
she kind of just realized she was an alien. Like, I mean, I guess she probably knew deep down because of what she can do. But, like, she's been confirmed.
So chapter 4, Who I Am. And, she's getting messages now from Dolly. Tanner has a green streak in his hair. And he talks about he's a scientist. And he came here when he landed here in Alaska. What does it say? January of 1981.
Mm-hmm.
He was captured. Not really sure how. Like, there's no sense of like kryptonite or anything. So I did not resist. I had hope. We did not know, and then somehow.
Well, I mean that's how he let them take them, and then if he didn't have any exposure to the sun, depending on how much, and we don't know. Like how long per story, story, it just depends on the writer how long it takes before powers kick in,
or
so
deplete.
to speak.
He hadn't been exposed for very long. So okay. I'll roll with it. Okay, I'll roll with it because you're smart. So
I don't know. That's immediately how I thought about it. He immediately gave up. He said he didn't fight them. He didn't try and stay away, let them take him. And I mean, we know from different stories, like immediately in prison and kept from the sun, and he doesn't have powers. So.
Mm-hmm. That's true. True. The true. Dolly's still at school trying to get a hold of Kara. We didn't mention that their mascot's the Liberty Lions.
Well, they're in Midvale, so
we have. She says they have my friend. They've kidnapped Dolly. They kidnapped her. Come to LexCorp. My life depends on it. I'm typing this, but also typing what they tell me. So they show up. Okay, they go in together. Boom. Green glow. Now, Kara is on the table with Coach Stone. I really hate that her name's Coach Stone because now I'm like, is this supposed to be like Mrs. Stone, like Victor's mom, like in another universe or something? Because this isn't, you know what I'm saying? It's non-canon, but it's never.
Yeah, could be. They got her chained down with kryptonite on her shackles, and they've got kryptonite bullets they're loading their guns with.
And then boom, we have Tanner show up and says, "How many hours have I spent dreaming of this day? How many? Let's not rush this, shall we? Take it one trader, one room at a time. This is going to be fun." And we just have him annihilating everyone with heat vision.
Yep.
And
First thing she says on the next page, "Oh my God, you just murdered everyone."
yes.
And that's it, murdered everyone.
He says, yes, we need to go. We have to find the power source. Why do we need the power source? Because we're going to destroy their precious technology. But wait, what about Dolly? Kara Zor-El, the time for childish games is over. To defend yourself in the honor of Krypton, you will do as I tell you. And he starts walking away. Of course, Dr. Stone's not dead. She's just horribly, half melted. And we see that Tanner now has Dolly. And dangling over her the edge. And basically is going to drop her. And he's like, maybe it's too late and you're like them. And he drops Dolly. And Kara's screaming no. And Dolly says crap. And then Kara punches Tanner. And then goes flying to save Dolly. Much like we have cut in how she wished she could save Jen. And she catches her really weird. But she's got her.
Yeah.
And Dolly is awesome. Is like, that's what it's like to be a damsel in distress. And she's like, you're totally a superhero. And she's like, I'm not. Stay here. And Kara goes flying off and finds green-haired Tanner Man. And they begin to fight. And she starts seeing her mom and dad in her memory again. It starts coming back to her. As she's fighting, it's like things come on to her.
Well, her memories come back, and he says that once they're done there, that when they return to Krypton, she'll be tried for treason for aligning herself with Earth instead of Krypton. And she knows that Krypton's gone, that Krypton was destroyed, that it was exploding when she was sent off world. No mention of following her cousin or anything like that. She was just saved.
Yep. And they keep fighting.
And he decides that he's going to go into that energy reactor that Dr. Stone was working on and explode it. And Kara uses her freeze breath to kind of stop the entire explosion, because the explosion's going to destroy Midvale.
Freeze breath is awesome.
Yeah. Dolly and Kara are hanging out in her barn, and Dolly shows her this picture of a new guy who has just started saving people in Metropolis, and they're calling him Superman.
And then they visit Jennifer's grave. And what I find interesting is Dolly Clark's calling her Supergirl. Oh my gosh, she's Supergirl. That's totally it. Which I love Dolly. Like I said, we see
Supergirl. Boom.
We see Lex Luthor. And Tanon is still out there. And it's him, it's Superman. And then it ends with Superman flying And Supergirl flies up to him and says, "Hey, can I talk to you for a second?" And it says, "Here we go." And that's the end. And I think I was kind of one. I think it's funny because Dolly, they never just like they never know what shade of color she is. Sometimes they make her look like she's African American, like they make her darker, and then sometimes it's like a light, like they can never figure out like coloring what they want to do. But what I think is interesting is it feels like this was supposed to be a Supergirl story without any Superman, and then like at the end, he's there and she shows up to him. Kind of caught me off guard. And I don't know. I think when I first read it, I was more like, "What?" Because I was thinking this was a world of just Supergirl. But now I'm like, okay. So now what does this book look like? Is it, since it's out of continuity, you know, what does it look like next? Like what happens after this, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it seems like Superman himself isn't
Right. Where's the other side of this? Like, what's the Superman
experience.
of this world kind of thing?
Yeah,
Like,
it's kind of like they grew up in two different areas, just simultaneously of each other. Probably Superman ahead of her. He's probably a little more worldly. Obviously, he's probably Clark Kent, Daily Planet, whatever. But like he's probably a little older, and yeah, it's just interesting. Because, like you said, what does the other side of that one look like?
so I don't know if I would have preferred to just not have Superman involved, you know, and it just been a Supergirl story.
Right.
So I don't know how I feel about it. But talking through it again with you here,
When you come out the other end, if there was no Superman, it would almost be Superman's story just for Supergirl,
and that's how I felt like this whole book was supposed to be. You know what I'm
Um,
saying? It already feels like it is in the first place.
yeah, it kind of is. Because set in a pod, crash landed. There's definitely none of the Kara tropes of protect your cousin, or you know out of time for whatever reason, or brainwashed, or what have you. My adventures, I don't know.
Yeah,
But
like
so it just seems like yeah, what and when, what's her age? I mean, it can't be just 8 years, or I don't even know. There is definitely no backstory, no context to it. It is kind of just is what it is.
so.
When you
I'm just
apply the things that we do know, it starts to you have to create more lore for it, for its universe.
Mhm.
And I think some of it might be quite different.
So I don't know, and that's kind of where I am with it. But I do think it's an interesting story. I don't know. I do think that it's an interesting story. It was, I don't know, I really was digging the first two books. And then I feel like a lot of like this what happens, I think, with me with a lot of comics is when we get to like the third story, when there's like the twist or like the big like villain or whatever, like it just, I feel like that when it fell short, like having the tan on character felt very, we can't use a character we already know, we're going to make one up, and he's very generic, very by the book, evil Kryptonian style character like we've seen. And then he just like is out there somewhere. Like, okay. Like,
and they're still elves. Are they related in any way?
yeah, like,
Is he older? Is she older? He's Superman already. Um,
and there's no more to this story. Like,
yeah,
if it had just ended where, you know, I don't know, like there wasn't a Tanon, there was just an actual villain. Um, and it just ended with her flying into the sky. I think I'd be more on board with this album, or not album, this book.
Hmm.
So,
right. I mean, for what it was, after the ending, once you start thinking about it, it starts to, I think, and I think we're putting a lot into it, you know, because there is no other stories from this world.
right.
So, but as a read, just reading it all the way through, I enjoyed myself the whole way. It's once we get to the end, and I think, like I said, we're putting in, we're trying to add our own headcanon, and if that's the case, we gotta change how we think about it. It's not standard.
It just for me, I'm just like, okay, what now? So, anyways,
No,
that
it was
is
a good read. So that that much I can say. It was a good read. I think, like I said, we pull the layers back, and it's not really pulling the layers back. It's just there are no other layers than what we've got. There's
right.
no other history, and we're just thinking in context of the history that we know.
So, but that concludes our first episode of 2026, the year of Supergirl, kicking it off with a Supergirl book that neither of us have ever read, getting something a little different out there. Check out any other podcasts. Of course, if you're excited for Supergirl, always check out our friends on Supergirl Radio, as they've been loving the Maiden of Might and giving us wonderful stories of her and her story. So check it out. And from James and I, Mr. Red here, from Mr. Blue, sounds like we're like two of the lost members of the Reservoir Dogs. We're saying, remember.
Look up in the sky!
Thank you for checking out the Krypton Report. Please click our link tree in the show notes to follow us on your favorite social media platform. We have a $1 Patreon, just $1 a month to keep us going. And in return, you get exclusive shows and specials. If you want to join us on an episode, send us an email or a message.
Hi, this is David Patrick Wilson. I played Superman, Clark Kent, in the television production of It's a Bird, It's a Plane. Enjoying every minute of being right here on the Krypton Report.